We're going to go through Math Primary 6 for SA2 2017 ACS. I'm looking at paper 2. So a rectangular container measuring 20 cm by 20 cm by 38 cm is completely sealed so that water cannot be removed. Height of the water level is 18 cm. When it is turned on the side, what will be the height of the water level be? So for this, you need to know that volume, your triangle for this is base, area, and height. Alright, so this is your triangle. If you want to find the height, then you need to have the base area and the volume. So first of all, we need to find the amount of volume of water. Okay, so volume of water. So volume is equals to base area times your height. Alright, so that's how the triangle looks like. So base area times height, which is equals to 20 times 20 times 18 equals 7,200 cubic centimeters. So next we want to find the base area. Alright, and then with the base area, I'll divide it by the volume and then we can find the height. So what's the base area? So I know that this is 20 and this is actually 38. So if I turn it on the side, this is 20 and this is 38. And the height is 20. Okay, the entire height is 20, but I want to find the how much is the height. So the answer will not be 20. So first of all, find so height equals to volume divided by base area. So I have my volume, which is 7,200 divided by base area is 20 times 38 equals 9.47 centimeters. And they wanted 2 decimal place, so that's 2 decimal place. Now I want to teach you how to do checking for math as well. Every time you have you finish a math problem, just write SWU over here. S is for substitution, W is for working, U is for units. So substitution is just to make sure that you copied the correct values from the question to your working. Working is to make sure that your working is correct, and then units is to make sure that your units are correct. Okay, let's go through substitution. So I have 20 by 20. My base area is 20 by 20, so it's correct. And then I know that my height is 18, so 18 is correct over here. And then after that, let's check that my base area, I copied the correct values. So it's 20 by 18 plus 20 is 38. So 38 is correct. 20 is correct. I actually used 20 and 38. So that's correct. So I used the correct values. I copied 7,200 correctly over here. Correct. So I will check my working and then I know that my working is correct. And I check my 2 decimal place is correct. So that's how I check my working. Alright, and then the last one is units. So units, cubic centimeters is correct. Centimeters is correct over here. So my substitution checked, working checked, units checked. Alright, so this is how we check for your, this is how we check for math basically. So at the answer, you write 9.47 centimeters, correct to 2 decimal places. So that's the answer. The table below shows the number of books read by each pupil in a class of 40 pupils. One of the numbers in the table is covered by an ink blot, so it's a question mark. Number of pupils who read 0 books is 4, read 20 books is 14, and this is a question mark. So average is 9. What's the number covered by the ink blot? So the formula for average equals to total divided by number of. Alright, so what is the total in this? Before that, the number of is, I know is equals to 40. Okay, so the total is a question mark and I need to find out this question mark. So total equals to this times this plus this times this plus this times this. Okay, so that's the total number of books, because if 4 pupils read 0 books, so that's 0. 20 pupils read 14 books, so that's the total number of books is 20 times 14. And then 16 pupils read this question mark number of books, so it's 16 times question mark. So instead of question mark, I'll just use 1u because that's something you're familiar with. So total is 4 times 0 plus 20 times 14 plus 16 times 1u. So that equals to, this is 0, this is 2at, and this is 16u. So it's 2at plus 16u. So total divided by number of, and I know the average is 9 because it's given by the question. Where did it write? Over here. So I know that the average is 9. So therefore 280 plus 16u divided by 40, which is the number of students, equals to 9. So can you solve this part? Alright, so you need to bring this multiply up and then find 1u equals to question mark. And that's your answer over here. Okay, so go ahead and work it out. If you don't know how to do this part, then check with me, alright, when you are in class, and I will show you how to do this. So let's do some checking again. So just write down SWU. Substitution, just check my substitution is correct. My 9, is it 9? It's correct, so correct. 4 times 0, 4, 0, that's correct. 20, 14, 20, 14, that's correct. 16 and 1u, 16 and 1u, that's correct. So if I write, let's say, let's just rub this away and say I accidentally wrote 17 just now, alright? Then when I'm doing my checking, and then I check, this is 16 times 1u, 70 times 1u, oh, then I know that there is a careless mistake over here. So it's actually 16 times 1u, okay? And that's 16u. And then I just check this again, 20 times 14, 280, that's correct. 16 times 1u is 16u, that's correct. And make sure I copied it correctly over here. 280, this is 280, that's correct. 16u, 16u, that's correct. Divided by 40, 40 pupils, that's correct. 9, 9, that's correct. Okay, and then so on and so forth. So I do my working as follows. Then after that, I just check that my units are correct, which is, what is the number? It's actually books, alright, number of books. So I check my working is correct, units are correct, and then I know that this question is correct. The figure below shows an empty rectangular tank measuring 80 by 50 by 60, so it's 80 by 50 by 60. Water from tap A flows in the tank at rate at 8 liters per minute. So once you see this, write down here 8 liters per minute. And tap B at a rate of 6 liters per minute, 6 liters per minute. And tap C drains the water at 4 liters per minute, 4 liters per minute. Let's put a negative sign because it drains water. At 1 p.m. tap A was turned on. At 1:15, so write down here 1 p.m. At 1:15 p.m. tap B and C will also turn on. 1:15 p.m. and 1:15 p.m. What time will the tank be completely filled with water? At what time will the tank be completely filled with water? So write down volume, base area, and height. Okay, so volume is base area times height. So I just write down volume of tank. Okay, so first of all, I want to just write down my train of thought and how I'm going to work out this question. So volume of tank is, first of all, I want to find the volume of tank. And then I want to find tap A for 15 minutes first. And then I'm going to find tap A plus B minus away tap C, because A plus B is water is going in and C is water coming out, so it's a negative, it's minus away tap C. And then I know that I'll take my volume of tank minus away tap A for 15 minutes, and then I divide the whole thing by tap A minus away tap A. I divide the whole thing by tap A plus B minus away tap C, and I will find my number of minutes. Now, if you don't really know what I'm doing, I'm just trying to think of the I'm just trying to go through the thought process before I actually start work on this to tell myself what I'm going to do. before I put any numbers inside. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to find the volume of the tank, and then I'm going to find tap A for 15 minutes, and then I'm going to find tap A plus B minus away tap C, and then that is for liters per minute. And then I'm going to find the volume of the tank, the whole tank, minus away tap A for 15 minutes, divided by tap A plus B minus C, and I'll find the number of minutes. Okay, so let's just work it out first, and we'll see whether you can understand it better. So volume of tank equals to AT. So volume is actually base area times your height. So base area is 80 times 50 times height is 60 equals 240,000 cubic centimeters. Okay, so that's the volume of your tank. Then after that, I need to find tap A for 15 minutes. So tap A for 15 minutes is equals to, and the reason why 15 minutes, if you don't get it, is because I switched on tap A at 1 p.m. and then tap B it's 1:15 and tap C is also 1:15. So I want to find in this 15 minutes how much tap A has gotten in. So tap A is 8 liters. So to simplify things, let's just make 8 liters into, I'll change it into 8,000 cubic centimeters per minute. And this is 6,000 cubic centimeters per minute. And this is 4,000 cubic centimeters per minute. Alright, so tap A is 15 minutes. So it's 8,000 times 15 equals 120,000 cubic centimeters. So that's for tap A in 15 minutes. So I know I want to find tap A and B minus away C in, it is not liters per minute, it's cm, cubic centimeters per minute. So tap A plus B minus C is equals to A, it's 8,000, plus B is 6,000, minus C is 4,000, equals 10,000 cubic centimeters per minute. Alright, if you don't know, because A and B are adding water into the tank, so that's why it's positive. So it's positive 8,000 plus positive 6,000. C is water coming out, so that's why it's negative 4,000. So overall, I have an addition of 10,000 cubic centimeters per minute. And I know that I want to find after tap A for 15 minutes. So what is the amount? No, it's actually what is the volume. So what's the volume left after 15 minutes? That's equals to 240 minus away 120,000 equals to, which is this one. I'm trying to find this value here, volume of tank minus tank A for 15 minutes. So volume left after 15 minutes, I get 120,000 cubic centimeters. So last one is I take this divided by this. Alright, so I have volume. This is the volume left after tap A has been switched on for 15 minutes. And I know that A plus B minus C is 10,000 cubic centimeters per minute. So time to fill the tank will be equals to 120,000 divided by 100,000. That's equals to 12 minutes. All right, so that's my answer. So let me just quickly go through this. I'll go through the the thought process first. So always write down the formula before you start. So first of all, I know I want to find the volume of the tank. I know I want to do this. Second, I want to find tap A after 15 minutes. How much is the volume? Number 3, I want to find tap A plus B minus tap C, because I know A and B goes in, C comes out. So I want to find out what is the net rate of water going in cubic centimeters. And then finally, I want to find the volume of the tank minus away tank of A, and then I divide it by tank A plus B minus C. Okay, so over here I have volume of the tank, it's 80 times 50 times 60. And then tap A for 15 minutes. Tap A plus B. What is the total? Which is 10,000. So volume left after 15 minutes is 120,000. So time to fill tank is 120,000 divided by 10,000. So it's 12 minutes. So it's 12 minutes. So let's do my checking. SWU. Substitution. Make sure my substitution is correct. My volume of tank is 80, 50, and 60. So 80, 50, and 60. That's correct. Tab A is 8,000, which is correct. 8 liters is correct. 15 minutes is correct. Let me check my 15 minutes. So 15 minutes is 1 p.m. Tab A was turned on. 1:15 Tab B and C were also turned on. So 15 minutes is correct. And then I need to check A plus B. A is 8,000, that's correct. B is 6,000, that's correct. C is 4,000, that's correct. Negative sign for C, that's 10,000, that's correct. Volume left after this is 240,000, copied correctly. 120,000, copied correctly. Left with 120,000. This one and this one, this is correct. 12 minutes, that's correct. So let me check my question again. At what time will the tank be completely filled with water? Oh my goodness, okay. This was a careless mistake. At what time will the tank be completely filled with water? I didn't give them the time. In fact, I came up with the time to fill the tank, but I didn't give them the time that the tank will be completely filled with water. Okay, so this is actually wrong. So time to fill completely is equals to, so 1:15, the both tap was turned on, so it's actually 1:15 plus another 12 minutes. So it's 1:15 plus 12 minutes equals to 1:27 p.m. Alright, so be careful because this will lose me 1 mark, and I know that I know the answer already, so it's really a careless mistake. So it's 1:27 p.m. Okay, so that's how checking will help you. So I know my substitution is correct, my working is correct, my units is also correct. So I just put a tick over here. Jasmine spent 4/9 of her money on 6 mugs. She bought another 3 identical mugs and 10 fowls with the rest of her money. What fraction did she spend on the 10 fowls? So this is the total amount of money you have. 4/9 on 6 mugs. She bought another 3 identical mugs and 10 fowls with the rest of her money. So the rest of her money is 5/9. It's 3 mug plus 10 fowls. What fraction of her money did she spend on the 10 fowls? So first of all, I need to find 1 mug. And then after that, I times 3 to get 3 mugs. So let's look at 1 mug first. So 1 mug will be equals to 4/9 divided by 6 equals 4/9 times 1/6 equals 2/27. Alright, so 2/27 of the total amount of money is spent on 1 mug. So I have 3 mugs here. 3 mugs equals to 2/27 times 3 equals 2/9 of the money. So I know that 2/9, which is 3 mugs plus 10 fowls, is equals to 5/9 of the money. So therefore 10 fowls is equals to 5/9 minus away 2/9 of the money is 3/9 equals to 1/3 of the money. So what fraction of her money did she spend on the 10 fowls? She spent 1/3 of her money on the 10 fowls. How many fowls could she buy if she spent all her money on fowls only? So for 1/3 of the money, you get 10 fowls. So all her money is actually 1 whole, right? So I do divide times 1 divided by 1/3 times 10 fowls equals to 30 fowls. Okay, so that's how many fowls she can buy. You can also think of it as, if you draw the model, this is 10 fowls, 10 fowls, 10 fowls. So this is 1/3. So therefore 1 whole is 30 fowls. Okay, you can do the math way or you can do the model way, both is fine. So let's check now. So I have my SWU, my substitution, make sure I got it correct. 4/9 is 4/9, 6 mugs is 6 mugs, 3 identical mugs, with the and 10 files with the rest of the money. 9 minus 4 is 5, so 5 is correct. So 1 mug is 4 over 9 divided by 6, 4 over 9 divided by 6, that's correct. I copied all the answers correctly. 3 mugs is 2 over 27 times 3, 2 over 27 times 3, that's correct. 2 over 9 is correct. 2 over 9 plus 10 files equals to 5 over 9, correct. I copied all this correctly. 2, 9, 2, 9. 10 files equals to 5 minus 2, this is correct. So 1/3 is 10, 1 divided by 3, 30 files. Okay, correct. So I got my substitution and working correct. My units, what fraction did she spend on the 10 files? She spent 1/3 of it. So let's go to my answers. So I will say 1/3 of her money. And how many files could she buy if she spent all her money on files only? So 30 files. She can buy 30 files. Alright, and that's 2 points, 2 points. Quite easy, right, this question? Okay, let's look at this one. Mr. Gopal spent 1/5 of his money on 5 mechanical pencils and 12 highlighters. The cost of each pencil is 3 times the cost of each highlighter. He bought some of the same mechanical pencils with 1/3 of his remaining money. What fraction of his money was spent on additional mechanical pencils? How many mechanical pencils did he buy altogether? Okay, so when I see this kind of question, spend 1/5 of his money on 5 pencils and 12 highlighters. The cost of each pencil. Okay, so there are 2 things I need to draw. So this is total. I know I spent 1/5 of my money on 5 pencils plus 12 highlighters. The cost of each pencil is 3 times the cost of each highlighter. But every time I see this kind of, I'll just draw a model. And just to help me understand. The cost of each pencil is 3 times the cost of each highlighter. Alright, so I know it's 3U and 1U. Difference is 2U. So he bought some more of the same mechanical pencil. It was 1/3 of his remaining money. Once you see remaining, please use your branching method. So I have 1/5, so my remaining is 4/5. With 1/3 of my remaining money, I bought pencils. Okay. And my pencil is 3U, my pencil is to highlighter, pencil is 3U, highlighter is 1U. What fraction of his money? So what fraction of his money was spent on the additional mechanical pencils? So this is a 1 mark problem and this is a 3 mark problem. So this question, very easy to make careless mistakes. So please do your branching method, because that really cuts down your careless mistakes. So you have 1/5, you have 4/5, 1/3 bought pencils. What fraction of his money was spent? So fraction spent is equals to 1/3 times 4/5. That's all. Alright. And you have 4/15 was spent on the additional mechanical pencil. So just use some other color and write 4/15. So for 1/5 you can buy 5 pencils and 12 highlighters. So I want to convert this 5 pencils and 12 highlighters into all pencils or all highlighters. I know that 1 highlighter is 1/3. So if my pencil is 1U, then each highlighter is 1/3 U. Alright. So this is 1U, this is 1/3 U. So I've got 5 pencils, 12 highlighters. So 12 highlighters will be equals to 12 divided by 3 equals to 4 pencils. So this is equals to 4 plus 5 equals to 9 pencils. So 1/5 of my money is actually equals to 9 pencils. So 4/15 of my money will be equals to, this is divide and times. So 4/15 divided by 1/5 times 9 equals 12 pencils. So my question is, how many mechanical pencils did he buy altogether? So to find the number of mechanical pencils he bought, I need to find this number plus this number. Okay, very easy to make a careless mistake of using this number plus this number. So don't do that because this is, I converted my 12 H is what highlighters into pencils. So don't use this. So this is the ones that I actually bought. So mechanical pencils bought is equals to 12 plus over here 5 equals to 17 pencils. Alright, so checking SWU, substitution, make sure I got all the substitution correct. 1/5 is 5 pencils, 12 highlighters. 5 pencils, 12 highlighters, correct. Let's put a small tick over here. Remaining is 4/5, that's correct. 1/3 of his remaining money, 1/3 of his remaining money, correct. 1/3 times 4/5, correct, equals to 4/15. Just check my working is correct. Pencils is 3 times of highlighter. Just check, make sure this is correct. Very easy. A lot of people mix up this, put H and P. The other, they mix up H and P. So cost of each pencil is 3 times the cost of each highlighter. So pencil is 3 times the highlighter, correct. Pencil, highlighter, 3 units, 1 unit, correct. So if I change this to 1 unit, this becomes 1/3 unit, correct. So 12 highlighters equals to 12 divided by 3. Make sure it's divide and not times. Divided by 3 pencils, correct. So 1/5, I got 9 pencils. Is that correct? So 5 plus 4 is 9, correct. So 1/5 is 9. I copied the 9 correctly. 4/5 is 4/5 divided by 1/5. 4/5 divided by 1/5, correct. Times 9, correct. 12 pencils, correct. So 12, make sure I add the correct one. It's not 12 plus 9, but 12 plus 5, because that was the original pencils that he bought. So 12 plus 5 equals to 17 pencils, correct. Okay, so I've done my substitution, working, and units. Let's check how many mechanical pencils did he buy all together. So he bought 17 mechanical pencils, correct. In the diagram below, ABC and DEF are equilateral triangles. Is a straight line. So this is a straight line. GCFH is a straight line. DFH equals 65. DFH is 65. And GCB is 100. GCB is 100. So over this one is 100. Find angle X, which is this one, angle X. So to find angle X, I know if all these are equilateral triangles, that means this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this are all 60 degrees. So if this is 100, this is 60, then this is 20, right? 20 plus 60 plus 100 is 180, angles on a straight line. 65, this is 60, and this is 55. So angle X is equals to 180 minus away 20 minus away 55. Okay, so equals to, that's the answer. Now, I don't want you to write it down like this when you are doing your work. I want you to do it step by step. Okay, so name the angles. Name the angles and do step by step. I want to see your working when you are doing it. Okay, I want to mark your working as well. So angle X is actually 105 degrees. So this is 105, and therefore this is also 105. And if this is 105, this is 60, I can find this angle. All right. So this angle is angle FYA is equals to FYA, correct? 180 minus away 105 minus away 60, 15 degrees. And if it's 15 degrees, then therefore angle Y equals to 180 minus 15 degrees equals 165 degrees. Okay, so that's the answer for the both of them. So I want, for angle X, I want you to name the angles and do it step by step and make sure you know how to do it. Okay, question 15. At 9 AM, Katie left Sunville and drove towards the city at an average speed of 60 kilometers per hour. So Sunville, city. So Katie left Sunville and drove towards the city at an average speed of 60 kilometers per hour. 2 hours later, and she left at 9 AM. 2 hours later, Perry also left Sunville. So Perry left Sunville 2 hours later. So 9 AM, 2 hours later is 11 AM. And drove along the same route after traveling for 270 kilometers. So this is 270 kilometers. Perry caught up with Katie. So what was Perry's average speed? So every time you have a speed question, please draw the formula, your triangle, right? Distance, speed, time. So average speed equals to total distance over total time. This is a catch-up question. So right here, catch up. So catch up is, so the formula for catch up is your difference in your distance divided by difference in distance divided by your speed. You get your difference in time. If you use your difference in distance divided by time to catch up, you get your difference in speed. Alright, so that's the formula, and you have to know this formula. So let me just confirm again. So catch up, if you are doing a catch-up question, which is in the same direction, they're catching up, the difference in the distance divided by, okay, the difference in the, let's look at this one first. The difference in the distance divided by the time to overtake will be equals to your difference in your speed. And in terms of, if you want to find the time, you need to find the difference in your distance divided by the difference in your speed equals to your time to overtake. Okay, so time to overtake. Alright, I know it can be a bit confusing right now, but it's okay. Let's look at this question. But this formula is something that you will have to remember when you're doing catch-up questions. So Katie over here. So first of all, let's find the difference in distance. So Katie had a head start of 2 hours at 60 kilometers per hour. So that is actually 60 times 2 hours, which is 120 kilometers. So how do I find that? So Katie from 9 to 11 a.m. is, I want to find the distance of Katie from 9 to 11 a.m. So if I want to find distance, is speed times time. Speed of Katie is 60 times time is 2 hours equals to 120 kilometers. So that's how I know. So Katie was at 120 kilometers when Perry was at 0 kilometers. So let's draw a line down. So this is 120. So the other part, so basically Katie traveled for 150 kilometers, which is 270 minus 120 is 150. Then Perry caught up. So Katie took 2 hours to travel in this distance. So what is the time that she take to travel this distance? So time for Katie to travel 150 kilometers per hour. So time is distance divided by speed. Distance is 150 divided by speed is, I know her speed is 60. So this is 2.5 hours. So Katie took 2 hours to travel 120 kilometers, and then Perry started, and then Katie took another 2.5 hours to travel 150 kilometers. By this time, Perry caught up with her because this was 270 kilometers. So what that also means is that Perry covered 270 kilometers in 2.5 hours. So Perry's average speed equals to total distance over total time equals to, total distance is 270 divided by total time is 2.5 equals 108 kilometers per hour. So that's Perry's average speed. So let's look at this. How far apart would they be at 3 p.m.? So I want 3 p.m. Let's look at this. So at 3 p.m., comma, Perry equals to his time. Perry's time is, he started at 11 at 3 p.m. That would be 3 hours, 4 hours. 4 hours. Katie's time is equals to 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So that is 6 hours. So Perry's distance equals to distance, speed, time. So distance is speed times time. 4 times, I know Perry's speed is 108 equals to Katie's distance is 6 times Katie's speed was 60 kilometers per hour This is 360 kilometers. This is 432 kilometers. So the difference in speed will be equals to 432 minus away 360 equals 72 kilometers. And that's the answer for A, and that's the answer for B, and this is the answer for A. So let's go back to the question again. All right. Okay, so this part wasn't really necessary in this question, but it's okay. Just take it as a note. In the coming papers, when I see that it's necessary, I will bring this up again. But if you don't understand now, that's fine. So what was Perry's average speed? You must remember average speed though. Average speed is total distance divided by total time. So I know that the total distance traveled is 270. I know that the time traveled is 2.5 hours because that was the time traveled by KT in this 150 kilometers. So I want to find average speed. I take total distance divided by total time. And then I know 3 p.m. I have the time. So I need to find the time. And I have the distance now. I have the speed. I'm sorry. So 60 times the time that I have. So at 3 p.m. the time is 4 hours, time is 6 hours. I have the two speeds, so I can find how much they have traveled in that time. And then it's not difference in speed, difference in distance. All right, so difference in distance is this amount. So let's check my work. SWU, use a different color pen. Substitution, make sure I write down all the correct values. 9 a.m. over here, 9 a.m. over here, correct. 60 kilometers over here, 60 kilometers over here, correct. 270, correct. Average speed 3 p.m. I need to make sure that my 3 p.m. is correct over here. Okay, so 9 to 11, 2 hours later is correct. So that's correct. 120 kilometers, I know 120 kilometers here is correct. And that's 2 hours, all right. 270 minus 120 is 150, correct. 2.5 hours, I divide it, it's correct. All right, so make sure that all your substitution is correct. Go through and make sure all your working is correct. Check that your units are correct. And that's how you make sure that you check your math questions, your math working is correct. At a florist, roses are sold at 4 stalks for $9, carnations at 7 stalks for $6. Mrs. Ting bought an equal number of stalks of roses and carnations. She spent $170 more on roses. So this is a individual difference, total difference question. Individual difference, total difference. Individual difference means between 1 rose and 1 carnation. 1 rose and 1 carnation. This can be, maybe this is $5 and this is $3. So the difference is $2 for 1 rose. And let's say I know that my total difference, this is my individual difference. I know that my total difference is $10. Then therefore, the number of roses and carnations I bought is the total difference. So number equals to total difference divided by individual difference. Is 10 divided by 2 equals to 5. So I know that I bought 5 roses and 5 carnations. Okay, so this is an example that you need to know your individual difference and your total difference. So roses are sold for 4 roses is how much? $9. Carnations is 7 carnations for $6. Mrs. Ting bought an equal number of stalks of roses and carnations. So when you have equal number, that means you are looking for the lowest common multiple. Okay, you're looking for the lowest common multiple. So 7 times, what's the lowest common multiple between 4 and 7? It's actually 28. All right, so 28 carnations and 28 roses. So I need to times 7 to get 28. I need to times 4 to get 28. So then, therefore, I have equal number of carnations and roses. So 28 roses is actually 7 times 9. This is $63. And 6 times 4 is $24. So the minimum that I can buy. So what this statement is trying to say is that the minimum that I can buy in order to have an equal number of roses and carnations, is 28. That's 7 times 4, 28 carnations. 4 times 7, 28 roses. And I need to spend a minimum of $63 plus $24. So therefore, my individual difference, which is the minimum that I can buy, is actually $63 minus away $24, which is $39. Okay, so the minimum I can buy is 28 roses, 28 carnations, and the difference in price between them is $39. So I spent $117 more on the roses. So over here, my individual difference, instead of 2, it becomes 39. And my total difference, instead of 10, becomes 117. So to find number of sets of the roses, so my total difference is 117. So number of sets is equals to 117 divided by 39 equals 3 sets. So what I'm saying is actually I have 28 roses, 28 carnations, and my difference is $39. So that is set number 1. I have number 2 and number 3, which is also 28 roses, 28 carnations, another difference of $39, 28 roses, 28 carnations, another difference of 39. In total, I have 117 difference, and therefore the number of flowers that I have is actually 28 roses times 3 and 28 carnations times 3, which is 84 roses and 84 carnations. My question is asking me how many stalks of flowers did she buy altogether. So bought total, which is the total number of stalks, is actually 84 plus 84, which is roses plus carnations, which is 168. So it's 168 stalks of flowers. Her sister visited the same florist and spent an equal amount of money on the stalks of roses and carnation. What fraction of the stalks of the flowers she bought were roses? So this is the sister. And same thing, roses, carnation, 4 roses for $9, 7 carnation for $6. So she spent equal amount of money. So that means now I have to find the lowest common multiple for the money. Lowest common multiple for the money, which is 9, and 6 is actually 18. All right, so I times 2, times 2, times 3, times 3. So that means I spent $18 for carnations. I got 21 stalks of carnations. I spent $18 on roses. I got 8 stalks of roses. So the question is asking what fraction of the stalks of flowers she bought were roses. So roses, so fraction of roses is equals to roses over total. Okay, so it's roses is 8. Total is 8 plus 21. So therefore it's 8 over 29 were roses. Answer here is 8 over 29. Alright, so that's the answer for the both of them. So for this question, you need to know what is the individual difference and total difference. Right, so I listed out this for you to make it really clear to you what is the individual difference and total difference. So this is one set. This is the second set of flowers to buy, and this is the third set. So altogether you bought 3 sets of flowers. Each set, the minimum is 28 roses and 28 carnations because you bought the same number of roses and carnations. And the difference in price is actually $39 per set. And I know that my total was 117, so therefore divided by 39, I got 3 sets. So if I take 28 times 3, I got 84 roses. 28 times 3, I got 84 carnations. Total is 168 stalks. And then the other part where the sister, you need to make the money the same. So that means $9 and $6, you need to find the lowest common multiple. So 9 times 2 is 18. And 6 times 3 is 18. So 18 and 18 is the same amount of money. So for 18, I know I can buy 4 times 2 is 8 stalks of roses. And for 18, I can divide it by times 3, I can get 21 stalks of carnations. So fraction of roses is actually roses divided by total. Very important, not roses divided by carnations. That's what a lot of people will make this mistake. So it's 8 roses divided by 8 plus 21, which is 29. So 8 over 29 are roses. So if you want the fraction of carnations, it's actually 21 carnations divided by 29. So that's the ratio of carnations. Alright, so that's how you do this question. A figure is drawn on a square piece of paper, side 20 cm. So 20 cm, 20 cm. Outline consists of a large quadrant, a small quadrant. So this is the large quadrant. Alright, this is the large quadrant. A small quadrant. So this is the small quadrant. And a semicircle. This is the semicircle. And a straight line. Straight line. Where's my straight line? This is the straight line. Radius of the smaller quadrant is twice the radius of the semicircle. So radius of the smaller quadrant is twice the radius of the semicircle. Okay, so this radius is 2u and this radius is 1u. Alright, so 1u, 1u, 2u, total is 4u. So for each of the following, use the calculator value of pi to find the perimeter of the figure correct to 2 decimal place. So to find the perimeter of the figure, I need to find this part, this semicircle, this quarter circle, plus this straight line. So this is 2u. This is also 2u because it's a radius. Radius, both sides will be the same. 1u, 1u. So 4u is 20, 1u is 5. So let's rub this away and write down here. I draw it here. So this is 5, 5. This is 2u, so this is 10. Alright, so let's just keep it neat. So this is 10. This is 10. So if this is 10, this is also 10. Okay? So let's look at the large quadrant. Perimeter of the figure correct to 2 decimal places. So large quadrant perimeter is equals to 1/4 times 2 times pi times r. Right, so 2 pi r is the circumference of a circle. I only got a quadrant, so it's 1/4 of it. So that's equals to my r for the large quadrant is actually equals to 20. So this is 20, so it's 1/4 times 2 times 20 times pi. Leave your answer in pi first, don't work it out, alright? So it's 10 pi cm. So this 10 pi cm, so I want to find my small quadrant. Small quadrant is equals to, again, quadrant is always 1/4 times 2 pi r equals to 1/4 times 2 pi times r is 10. So it's equals to 5 pi cm. So this is 10 pi, this is 5 pi. Now I'm going to find this one, alright, this semicircle. So semicircle, so it's equals to, semicircle is half, half times 2 pi r equals to half times 2 times pi times r is 5. So it's equals to also 5 pi cm. So this is 5 pi cm. So this is 10. So total perimeter is equals to 10 pi plus 5 pi plus 5 pi, and you need this 10, alright? Be careful of this 10. Now this is the part that it is very easy to make careless mistake. Either you forgot one of the length, or either you forgot the 10 or something. So be very careful at this part. For total perimeter equals to 5 is 20 pi plus 10, And if you use the calculator to solve this, equals to 72.83 cm. Now, if I'm doing this, the first thing I'll do is at this point I will do my checking. Just make sure that I got everything correct. My large quadrant perimeter, make sure I used 1/4 instead of half. 2 R is 20. Just check that I got 20. Make sure all my values are correct. I used the correct numbers. I got the correct values over here. So check at this point. Make sure you use all your substitution is correct, your working is correct, your units are all correct. Because if this part is wrong, then the next part will also be wrong. Alright, so that's the difficult part. So now I need to find the area of the figure, correct to 2 decimal places. So I need to find this one, correct to 2 decimal places, which is actually the same steps as what you did on top. But instead of perimeter, now you find area. So large quadrant perimeter becomes, let's look at this, large quadrant area is equals to 1/4 pi r squared, which is equals to 1/4 times 20 squared times pi. Be very careful of your squares, alright? So just make sure you don't have any careless mistake here. So it's 100 pi squared centimeters. So now you need to find the small quadrant area, which is equals to 1/4 pi r squared as usual. So 1/4. So your r is 10 times 10 squared times pi equals 25 pi squared centimeters. And you need to find the semicircle area, which is equals to half pi r squared equals to half times pi times r is 5 squared equals to 12.5 pi squared centimeters. So you have all this, so your shaded area is equals to your large quadrant minus away your small quadrant minus away your semicircle. Alright, so work it out, and the units is squared centimeters. So likewise for this question, it's very easy to make careless mistakes, especially at your last step where you're taking all the minusing. Alright, so be very careful, check for your substitution and your working especially. Make sure that you get these two correct. Don't make silly mistakes over here. The other thing is actually leaving your working all in pi. Okay, so I've seen students where they work out the pi's and there'll be like a crazy amount of decimal points they have to work with. So leave it in pi all the way until the end over here. Then you do 2 decimal places over here. Okay, so that's how you work out this question. Total number of sweets in A, B, C, and D was 450. After I doubled the sweets in A, number ratio becomes this. What's the ratio? Okay, so when you see this kind of question, it's very important to do what I call the mathematical structure. Alright, so that just means there's like A, B, C, D, or whoever the names of the people are, the total, the difference, and the changes over here, and the values over here. Okay, so this is like a spreadsheet, like a grid like that. So you have to be very familiar with doing this, especially when you see this kind of like super long kind of questions which confuses you. Look at it really, you get a headache. This is what you need to do. Convert all these English words into a math structure so that you can work it out. So let's do it. So I have A, B, C, and D, the total number. So I have A, and give yourself some space, please, as much space as you can. C and D and total. And I always like to do a difference column as well. So A, B, C, D total. So total is 450. So A, B, C, D is 450. After I doubled the sweets in A, So what I do is my change, all right? So I'm very careful every time there is so many information. I like to draw lines and make sure I know what I'm doing. So when I double my suites, it becomes 2A. After I double the suites in A, took out half the suites in B, becomes half B. Added 50 suites in C, so it's C plus 50. And took out 40 suites from container D, so it's D minus 40. The number of suites in container A to B to C to D is then in a ratio 1:2:3:4. What is the ratio of the number of suites in container A to the number of suites in the container B at first? So I write here, this is after, and this is at first. So at first I had some number over here, so I change, I times 2. Actually, instead of writing 2A, a better thing would be writing times 2. And this is times half, all right? So my change is I multiplied by half, and then I had 1U, 2U, 3U, and 4U. So instead of writing C plus 50, this is my change, okay? So it's I added 50 here, I minus 40 here. So I times 2, then I became 1U. So at first I had 0.5U. Do you get this? All right. So 1 divided by this, I get this. So I times half, then it became 2U. So therefore I had 2 divided by half, I have 4U. All right. So 4U times half, I become 2U. So I had something at first, then I plus 50, then it became 3U. So therefore initially I had 3U minus 50. Then I plus 50, then I became 3U. And then this is, I have 4U plus 40. And then I minus 40, I became 4U. All right, so that's the key part to knowing this question, how to get from after to at first. So once you get this, then the ratio of the number of suites in A to B, 2-mark question. So it's actually A is to B is 0.5U is to 4U. So your teachers don't like 0.5, they like 1U, so you times 2 and you times 2 because 1 is to 8. So the ratio of suites of A is to B is 1:8. And if I want to make this into a structure of its own, so I will recopy this 0.5, and this is 4, and this is times 2 times 2, and this is 1:8. Okay, so that's your A is to B. So I want to find what is the total number of suites in the 4 container in the end. So total number is 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's actually 10U. So I need to find 1U, then I need to find 10U. All right. So to find 1U, I use this part to solve the equation. So it's actually 0.5U plus 4U plus 3U minus 50 plus 4U plus 40 equals to 450. And from here, I can work it out, and I find the number of U's. So I keep all the U's. So I keep all the U's on one side, the numbers on another. So let's just circle out my U's to make sure I know what I'm doing. 0.5, 4, 3, and 4. And then I'll shift this over. And I'll shift this over. Okay. So 0.5U plus 4U plus 4U plus 3U equals to 450 minus away 40. I shift this over. From plus, it becomes minus. My 50, I shift over, becomes plus. So it becomes minus 50, becomes plus 50. Plus 50. So that's equals to, so over here I have 11.5U equals to 460. So I can find 1U equals to a certain amount, but I know that I want to find 10U. So I just find 10U, I take this divided by this times this. I save the step of the 1U. Alright, so let's just rub this away. So that's equals to 10 divided by 11.5 times 460 equals 400. So in the end, there was total number of sweets in the end, there was 400 sweets. So 400 sweets. My units, please write down my units. And the ratio of A's to B is 1:8. Alright, so a few things to note in this question. It's a super long question. Every time I see this kind of long question, I get a bit of a headache. But I know that I'm going to use this, let me change color, this mathematical structure, alright, to break down the question into individual parts. Okay, so I just slowly look at it, what I'm going to do, write down all that, all the change that happens to all the individual components, write down a total column, and write down a difference column. In this case, you don't need to use the difference column, but it's fine. Just put it there. And you need to realize that your change is times 2, and after it's 1 unit, so it's actually 0.5 units times 2 becomes 1 unit. So you need to take this divided by this to get this. Alright, so once you figure this out, you add everything from here, A to D, work out your 1u, which is over here. You put all your u's to one side, number on another, and then you can work out what is 10u. Alright, so 10u is actually 400.